Hey, Ari here, leader of the race mixing revolution. Thanks for joining me in another video here. In this video, I wanted to talk about the first rule. I came up with this idea of the first rule, a rule that comes before all other rules. And the first rule is if a rule, either this rule or any other rule, is wrong, it is no longer a rule. Kind of rhymes, it's kind of a tongue twister. And I think it's an important rule because obviously we're coming to a time of some serious change. And a lot of rules are changing all the time. Even with the last 5, 10 years, a lot of things have changed. Right now, we're debating a lot of things like abortion laws and drug laws and these kind of things. And in the past, a lot of rules have been made because we've seen that some things are wrong. And a lot of times, rules are not written in stone. They're not like specific laws necessarily. But in our own way, we have rules and we have ways of enforcing them and we have ways of respecting them and reacting to them. And really, they're just for us. A lot of the things that we have in our rules of science, they happen whether or not we pay attention to them, so to speak. Rules of gravity and whatnot. We might as well pay attention to them because they're a part of our lives and a part of reality. But a lot of man-made rules, they're really just up to us. And so they become potentially arbitrary. Arbitrary means something that is just is. It's a rule that just is because it is and because we say it is. And that for someone to become arbitrary is kind of a shame. It's kind of a waste because there's no reason for it. And if there's good reason for it, it becomes less arbitrary. It becomes less just a matter of we need to control or we need to do some things that will enforce something. So the first rule, if a rule is wrong, it is no longer a rule. How can you apply this to your life? And how does this affect everybody else? So some rules, they exist and you don't even think about them. Like when you interact with somebody from another race in the context of race mixing, and you think, I cannot love this person. Whatever happens in my life with this person, no matter what, I cannot love them. I can interact with them briefly, technically, on a formal level, say some things that I need to say, and then I move on. That's it. My rule, their rule, is there is no love, there is no real emotion, there's no real connection that will have some kind of sustained, meaningful bond between us, between me and a person of another race. We have that rule for many different races. A lot of people from a lot of different countries have this rule. And it's because this rule hasn't been uninterrupted. This rule is understood by other people. And there's so many things that go into a rule like this. And we tend to trust these rules. But at the same time, there is a part of us that believes this is wrong. There's something wrong about this. This isn't... just the fact that I'm saying it out loud and it kind of sounds strange and we don't have confidence about it, that should be a sign. That should be some kind of an indication that this rule needs to change. If I could say confidently, oh, well, yeah, of course people from different races shouldn't love each other and shouldn't talk to each other too much. I can say that in an exaggerated example, but I can't say that with confidence. We wouldn't say that so naturally to one another. You wouldn't look at a black man and say, oh, well, of course I wouldn't love you. What kind of a thing would that be to say? And so obviously this rule is wrong and it is no longer a rule in my mind. In my mind, it's not a rule. And I'm sure that a lot of people understand this. And I hope that you can understand that. And I hope that you look at other ways that you treat people, regardless of race. But just in general, if somebody is one way or another and you have a rule for yourself of this is how I treat this person and that's my rule, maybe it's wrong. Maybe you need to communicate about it. Maybe you need to get creative and strategic about how you might change this rule. Some rules are replaced entirely. Some rules evolve. They go through phases. This is one phase of a rule, another phase of a rule. And maybe these rules that I'm saying, they're not completely wrong. Maybe there is something to be said for, the rules that we have are about racism. But at the same time, our feelings are giving us some information on how much this is actually doing for us. And I know that some of these rules are really doing nothing for us. So please, take my words for yourself. Ask yourself these kind of questions. I know it sounds abstract. I know it sounds kind of random maybe, but many rules in society will have to go through this first rule in order to survive. This is the survival rule. This is the ultimate. If you don't acknowledge this rule, then this rule probably applies to the rule more than you realize. With many different things, we can see this. Marijuana has become legalized in Canada, one example. People still argue about abortion, whether it's right or wrong. Some things we don't argue about, we understand. Murder, for instance, we all can acknowledge that is wrong. We have these rules and they all go through different phases. And sometimes the most simple things will actually give us resolution and will actually help us with these rules. Like the abortion situation, the example, at the end of the day, don't get pregnant if you're not trying to get pregnant. It sounds very simple, but really it's complicated. Sometimes people only have so much control, especially over something so important as getting pregnant. It's a very natural thing. As using drugs, so to some people it comes very naturally. Which drugs should be illegal? And even murder, some people could say they have this feeling, they have this anger, this whatever it might be, and people still kill each other. Not as much as they used to, but they still do that. And that is a rule. Is that a rule we need to change? I don't think so. But obviously there are some people that do it anyways. And so are they trying to say this is something that should be changed? No, but they want other rules to help them. If somebody has gotten to the place where they actually kill somebody, it's because the other rules have somehow failed them, that they had to break this rule. And so let's make sure all the rules kind of come together and they have a crescendo of security and of defining what you have to be doing and what should be happening. These are the way that rules should be working for us. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I got a lot more videos coming out in the future. Please share my video, copy the link, send it to some people, share it on social media. Please support me on Patreon. As little as $1 a month, you can help me in these very critical early phases of the revolution, help me build it from the ground up. Please remember my words and take them with you into the future. And thanks for watching again. I'll see you next time.